Friends, I watched the first two episodes of With Love Megan and I took notes to give a review and everything. But what I keep finding is all I really want to do is rant. So we're just going to get the rant over with and then I'll do separate reviews of the episodes later. So Megan has always said that, been very, very clear, very adamant that she's a liberal feminist, but Donald Trump is president and all of a sudden she's a trad wife. All of a sudden she's no longer an animal rights activist. She wants us to know that she loves bacon. She once refused to stay in a hotel during her Suits days whenever she was on some kind of promo thing because the hotel had a parrot in a cage and she couldn't have that appearance. Well, now she supports polo. We all know that Harry's been in trouble for beating his horses. That is not a sport where animals get treated kindly. The Queen actually had to get onto her, we know from reports, for acting a fool to staff because she was insisting on a vegan cake and she said she could taste eggs in it. Again, not vegan anymore. Love bacon. And do y'all remember not long after Meghan and Harry first arrived, Harry was acting really crazy, like going on all kinds of podcasts. He got fooled by those Russian comedians, thought he was talking to Greta Thunberg and spilled some shit. And then he went on Dax Shepard's podcast. Like, Dax Shepard isn't even famous. And he dropped this little gem where he said that he didn't understand freedom of speech at all. And as he did understand it, he finds it bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. And you know what? I don't want to get political, but whenever he comes into the country and involves himself in a high level with a lot of money in our politics with influence and stuff like that, that's enough for even a liberal like me to feel like, go back to your country, Harry. Because anyone who does commentary in America, it doesn't matter if you're big channel, small channel, or on the right or the left, we all deeply value free speech in America, and we understand it. It's not bonkers. Publicly speaking on stuff like that and not making an attempt to understand it better just really shows how royally entitled Harry still is. Much like whenever RAVAC, the entity that makes the decision about royal security in the UK, decided that Harry wasn't automatically justified security every time you come in. That's very important. He keeps saying they have no security if they come back to the UK. They do, so long as they follow a procedure. He just wants it to be automatic in case they ever have to pop in. And what RAVAC decided was no, you need to give us 28-day notice and like all this other stuff to get it because they stepped back as full-time working royals. Therefore, it wasn't considered prudent to dedicate the funds to constant security as if they were still full-time working royals. Argument can be made about Harry having been royal at birth and that will never change. Absolutely. But Harry doesn't help with security whenever he goes out there bragging about how many kills he had in the army, which I know so many veterans who combat veterans too. And I've never heard anyone talk the way Harry did in that book about their service. It was weird. Yeah, I got a little off track there, but to bring it back to point, once Ravak made that decision, Harry's response, and you can look this up, this is in his court filing. He responded this in a court filing. He wanted their names. He said, I would like to have the names of the people who made that decision. What was he going to do with their names, y'all? That's a little scary. It's a little freaky, and it's very royally entitled. What do you think he was going to have them drawn and quartered? Obviously not. He was going to do the modern equivalent to that, dox them, harass them with a PR campaign. Harry's not good. Like, I don't feel sorry a bit for Harry whenever it comes to how crazy Meghan is, because I think like attracts like there. So when it comes to those tendencies in Harry, look up African parks. Look up how Harry wanted preservation of Africa done versus William. William wanted to empower the people already living on the land to manage their land better and fend off poachers. Harry wants to, in a quasi-military way, enforce the preservation of the land. And his charity, or whatever it is, African Parks, that's been doing this, has been accused of feeding, RAPETORTURE, of the tribes people who lived there and are trying to fish out of these streams and hunt and make their traditional life that they have for years. Yeah, I as a liberal, do not want Prince Harry influencing our politics in any way. And another thing is that we all know Meghan said in her Harry and Meghan reality show, even though she insists on calling it docu-series, that while it was a rule in the royal family, you're not supposed to wear the same colors as senior royals, that she just couldn't figure out what to do. So what is she gonna wear? Camel beige. In this show, everything is beige on beige on beige, beige pants up to the neck, plaid beige pleats everywhere, beige ribbons on the jars, beige everything, beige bare feet on the beige floor, which brings me to another point. It is so obvious that with every media project that Meghan does, the entire premise is to refute every story about her she doesn't like. She didn't like that whenever it was put out that she was overly familiar with Catherine and William, and she was like, "Well, yeah, I was in ripped jeans and barefoot in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah." She didn't like the backlash reaction to that that said, "Listen, even though it was your boyfriend's family, you were meeting the Prince and Princess of Wales, actually at that time, Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. You just dress up." Whatever. So anyway, Megan had to have this very obviously forced, contrived shot in her show where they pan down and show her barefoot in the kitchen. Just like how in archetypes, she was so obviously trying to refute a lot of the negative press about her, then that kept her focus clouded from actually just doing what you're supposed to do on a podcast, which is relax and talk with someone, talk with people. No, it had to be like this whole groundbreaking thing. And whenever she was doing the diva episode with Mariah Carey, she broke character when Mariah Carey said, "Oh, come on, Megan, we know you can be a diva too." She had to edit in afterwards. So she's like, I was like, "Oh no, what has she read? What has she heard? Is my girl crush over? Is that enough to dump someone that they say, oh, come on, you're a diva too?" Is that why she doesn't have any real friends? Because with all these people that she's bringing to the show is awkward. Like the makeup artist who apparently the kids call Uncle whatever his name was, I can't even remember now, who was invited to the cake testing, but not to the actual wedding, apparently, allegedly. Mindy Kaling is being portrayed as this best friend. Like she's comes across as best ass kisser, like acting like everything Megan says is just shocking. You do a mix of high-low fashion with that beige on beige on beige. And they only met 2 years ago whenever Megan invited her on Archetypes. Like these, she doesn't appear like most celebrities doing a show like this would bring in some lifelong friends, that type of thing. Or is it Megan doesn't want to elevate anyone else. She likes to elevate things that reflect on her. But if she elevated these people, well, they might break off from her and become famous on their own. That wouldn't elevate her. What do y'all think?